Hi, I'm Gary Engelstad, Director of Resident Life, and our never-ending efforts to educate you, the resident and the voter. We have with us Kathy Horgan today. Kathy, welcome to our presentation.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
You are a candidate for?
An assembly seat in the 11th District.
Okay. And so Election Day is Tuesday, November 8th.
That's correct.
And one of the great things about visiting Seabrook is our turnout rate is usually around 70–75%. So I think you have a unique understanding that seniors understand the issues and they also come out to vote and exercise that right.
Right. I understand that too because I am a senior. I'm 66 and I think it's important for everyone to vote, and I think seniors are particularly astute about voting. They have life experience. They know what's happened in the past, and they are concerned about their future because we're living longer.
Well, you gave us a snippet of your biography with your age. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Long Island, and my late husband was from New Jersey. We've lived in various places, but we ended up in Red Bank about 12 years ago. And after his death, he had been very involved with the community, the Red Bank community, before his death. After his death, everybody reached out to me to give me opportunities to volunteer and to feel more part of being part of Red Bank. And before I knew it, I was on lots of committees, the zoning board, and then 4 years ago I was asked to run for a council seat. And I did, and I won. And it was a 3-year term, and I ran for re-election in November and was re-elected in November for another 3-year term.
So I got to think the word no is not in your vocabulary.
That's true. I can say no, that it is not a word in my vocabulary.
What is it that makes you say yes so often to civic causes and getting involved?
Well, I think it's important to give back. I feel that I've been very blessed in life. I have good health, I have a good job, I've always had good family and friends around me, I've always had a lot of support, and this is an opportunity to give back to people who have given to me and to reach out to help many other people whom I don't know. One good turn deserves another. As
you look back on your term and your second term in the Red Bank Council, what are some of the accomplishments that you feel proud of?
Well, in particular, a website, borough website that we instituted about 3 years ago when I first got onto the council. I'm the chair of the Education and Technology Committee. Up until then, it was a rather boring, non-user-friendly kind of website. I've also been very involved with the Environmental Commission. I'm the council rep to the commission, and we have instituted various plans in that, one of which is the integrated pest management in our parks, which eliminates toxic pesticides for our residents, for our children, and for our animals as well. We've been very active also in the Count Basie Fields, putting in new turf. We have brought back Little League to the Count Basie Fields. So there have been a lot of various local issues that we've taken care of.
If we were to map out where many of our residents come from before Seabrook, the Red Bank Middletown area is a huge source of a lot of our residents. So the fact that you have been a council person and are a council person in Red Bank is probably a very strong point to them, because this is a town that historically they've cared a lot about, and Red Bank has gone through some amazing changes over the years.
It has. Well, they used to call it Dead Bank, and then our former mayor, Ed McKenna, really with his council really turned it around. And even though we're going through an economic downturn right now, the town still has a vibrancy to it. New businesses are moving in all the time. We have a very active arts community. We have the Count Basie Theater, the Two River Theater, and the Monmouth County Arts Council, which is an umbrella institution for all of the arts organizations, and individual artists in Monmouth County also has its headquarters there. So I think we're a destination town, and I think we still have a pull. People are still drawn to us.
So some people would say, are you crazy? Why do you want to go to Trenton? Well, you've got a great thing going on in Red Bank, so why join this circus in Trenton?
I'd like to take the experience that I've gained on the council and through my life I've worked for 45 years, so I have a lot of life experience. But as I said, I would like to make a difference. I know that sounds like a cliche, but I'm not a career politician. I work full-time in New York City for AMFAR, the Foundation for AIDS Research.
Right.
I've been there for 10 years. I'm the liaison to the Board of Trustees. And so I have no vested interest outside of really trying to make a difference. The state of New Jersey is in a really terrible state,
right,
and we need to have change. And I think that I and my running mates, Ray Santiago, who's running for Senate, and Vin Gopal, who's running along with me for an assembly seat, I think that we can make a difference. They're small businessmen, and we just want to make a difference, really.
It's been a tumultuous year in New Jersey politics in the last year, with a new governor with strong opinions about teachers and police and unions. Where do you stand on a lot of the changes that have taken place in the state in the last year?
Well,
or attempted changes, for that matter?
Right. I think that certain changes have to be made because of the economic situation that we're facing today. I think it's the way some of the things have changed that I'm not in agreement with. Our collective bargaining process, for example, that's something that needs to be respected. I don't think that everything can be just legislated. I think we need to get to the bargaining table. Property tax, that is the biggest issue. And what I feel my fellow running mates as well, we feel that the tax burden has been shifted onto the municipalities. And I felt that as a council person in Red Bank, we were very fortunate in that we kept our budget flat and we reduced expenditures in debt service, but we still had to raise taxes a bit because of the 2% cap that was instituted. Actually, it's a soft cap because health benefits and pension do not fall within that 2% cap. So we had to raise taxes a bit, but we kept them we kept it very low. I think that what we need to do also is to reinstitute the millionaire's tax. We lost $637 million last year because of this, and that could have done a lot of good. For instance, I think it was $32.5 million was cut for nursing homes.
For the benefit of our residents,
yes,
how would a millionaire's tax work? That we aren't familiar with it. Is it strictly, okay, you're making $1 million, you're paying more taxes, or what is the threshold?
Well, yes, I mean, a millionaire's tax should be on people who are making at least $1 million,
okay,
and I think it should be a progressive tax.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, other than obviously looking out for the middle class and seniors, what are the other issues you think are paramount in this election?
Well, women's health care is very important to me. I'm a strong advocate of Planned Parenthood and other facilities that care for women. Funding was cut to these facilities, and women's health care, it's about preventative care. It's about pre-cancer screenings, diabetes screenings, STD prevention, and prenatal care. And if we don't take care of those issues now, down the road, people will become ill, will become more of a burden on the state. And in the long term, also health premiums will go up because somebody's going to have to bear the burden. Another issue that's very dear to me is marriage equality. Okay. I feel that every person should have the right to marry the person they love. And so that is something that I am a very strong advocate for.
One of the things I think that turns people off towards Trenton is the polarization, the D's and the R's.
Yes.
How do you avoid getting into that trap of it's us against them and working across the aisle?
That is going to be one of the biggest challenges. Ray, Vin, and I are very open to talking. I feel that negotiation, compromise, we have to think more about the people and less about the party. You know, the two P's, people versus party. And we would all like to, Ray and Vin, when I say we, Ray, Vin, and I, would like to have people judge us on what we've done and what we want to do rather than that we're Democrats or that we're Republicans. And I think this is a big issue. I think everybody in the United States is kind of fed up with what's going on at the federal level and also at the state level.
Let's focus primarily on senior issues now. You talked a little bit about it, but when you look at some of your neighbors in Red Bank who want to stay there but maybe can't afford to stay there, How do you help them? And it's a quandary because it's a beautiful little town, but as property taxes increase and they have limited income, how do they stay?
Well, I think one of the things we can do is reinstitute homestead rebates. I think that's very important. Also, the senior freeze, because the senior freeze is a program for eligible seniors and disabled residents to be reimbursed for any increase in property tax that is incurred from the first year that they were eligible for that program. It sounds rather complicated, but like in 2007, if they became eligible and their property tax went up, say $200, they were paying $5,000, it went up $200, they would be reimbursed for that $200. The following year, if it went up to $300, they would be reimbursed $300.
One of the things that Assembly people do a lot is constituent service. What is your mindset when a citizen comes to you as a council member and potentially as an assembly person about solving problems?
Well, you have to be open to them. You have to listen, and I'm always available. My cell phone number is on our borough website. It's also on my business card for the borough as a councilwoman. And I think people just want to be heard. And it helps us do our job if we listen to what people have to say, because that's why we want to be elected, is to help them. So it's really a question of being available and of listening rather than talking. I think politicians like to talk, excuse me, but I think listening to people is very important.
With the state government the way it is do you foresee going forward that all the draconian cuts have been made and there'll be a sense of normalcy going forward, or do you see the potential need for additional cuts in the next session, which you might be a part of?
I don't know. Yeah. We're in a very difficult economic situation. It doesn't look like it's going to change in the near future, and I would hope that we wouldn't have to cut, but I'm not sure. I just don't know.
Have you experienced something similar in Red Bank in terms of have you had to let public works or police employees let go, or have you been steady at that?
Yeah, well no, like with the police department, we haven't, when people have retired, we haven't filled those positions. The same with the borough workers. So we haven't had to do that. And the employees have been very willing to take on 2 or 3 jobs in order to, get the job done and also to be employed. So we've had very good relations with both our police, and we have an outstanding police department. They really do such a wonderful job.
Well, that's to your credit too, because you're telling someone to do more with less. So what's that message like?
Well, I think people are willing to share the sacrifice. I think this is something that's important, and we've been able to negotiate with our unions, and they've been very amenable to some changes.
But it's very impressive, because in a lot of towns you'll have that, and it creates acrimony and it creates department versus department.
Yeah.
So
now we've been trying to work together. So I'm hoping I can take that to Trenton. A more compromising attitude towards let's do what's best for everybody. Everybody give a little something, and let's have a win-win situation.
One of the unique aspects of this district is our proximity to the shore. What are your thoughts about increasing tourism or increasing just the viability of this as an important area for the state of New Jersey, this 11th district?
Well, I think that having the shore, as my niece says, we live in a resort. I think the Jersey Shore has always been an attraction for people, and I think helping small business people with tax incentives and accessibility to capital could also increase businesses on the shore, which could be attractive to people who are coming from elsewhere.
When you look at the budget and you think about, okay, increases or cuts, and you've talked about some of the areas that matter to you, are there other areas within state government that you thought were cut too much in the Christie administration?
That's something I'm really not sure about. I would have to do a little more investigating and research on that.
No, I think it's something that our president encountered when he got in, is that he didn't have all the facts. Now he's realizing back in 2009, well, this was a little bit of a mess when he came in. And
well, hindsight is always 20/20, you know. I wish I had eyes in the back of my head.
Right.
But you know, we have a lot of energy, my running mates and I, and a lot of good energy and commitment and dedication.
Have you spoken much to current assemblymen or current assembly people in terms of, should you be elected, what you can anticipate?
Yes, I did speak to one, and a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And actually, campaigning is a lot of hard work too, but it's worth it. What I like most of all is walking door to door and meeting the voters and really finding out what issues concern them. And there are 18 municipalities in this district, in District 11, and each municipality has a different issue. So the only way you can really find that out is by talking to people one-on-one.
So for the benefit of our residents, because this district has been redrawn a little bit, give us kind of the east, west, north, south boundaries of the 11th district.
Well, we start with Freehold Township, Colts Neck, Red Bank, Tinton Falls, Shrewsbury Township, Eatontown. Moving south, we have Lock Arbor, Interlaken, Deal, Allenhurst, West Long Branch,
so it's a
Asbury,
wide swath,
Neptune Township. I don't know if I got all of it.
Yeah, but it's
huge.
Yeah, it is
It
big.
starts in the west with Freehold.
What number pair of shoes are you on for?
I haven't counted.
It's a lot of walking.
I'm going to start going barefoot, I think.
Or any other issues that we didn't touch on that you want to make sure our residents are aware of, and where you stand on those issues?
No, I think we've covered everything. I mean, property tax is always a big issue here in New Jersey. Seniors, making sure that seniors are not squeezed as much as they have been. Also the working class and the middle class. We've talked about women's health, marriage equality, the environment, which is very important, maintaining a sustainable society. But I think we've covered a lot. Maybe I've forgotten one or two, I'm not sure.
You're welcome back anytime.
Well, thank you very much.
And
Gary.
I think that our residents have gotten to know you, and should you be successful, we look forward to many future visits.
I would love to come back. In fact, I just ran into a friend of mine who lives here, so it was a nice surprise.
Oh, great.
Yes, yes.
Well, thanks for being on our show.
Thank you so much.
And good luck. And once again, Election Day is Tuesday, November 8th. Please exercise your right to vote. Seabrook has demonstrated a wonderful track record of a great turnout, and we look forward to that again on Tuesday the 8th. Thank you.